class 3 cavity. Here you can see class 3 cavity that are present on the mesial or distal surfaces of the anterior teeth, and it is triangular in shape. So before naming the line angles and point angles, we have to name the walls of the cavity. So this is the axial wall, as it is present along the long axis of the tooth. Here you can see, suppose this pencil is along the long axis, is the long axis of the tooth. So the wall that are you seeing is also along the long axis. Okay, so this is axial wall, this is gingival wall because it is directed toward the gingiva, and this is here as it is, this is the facial wall, so this will be called as facial wall, and this is lingual wall of the inside the teeth, so this will be called lingual wall. So basically 4 walls are present in the class 3 cavity: axial, facial, lingual and gingival wall. Okay, if we name the line angles of the class 3 cavity, we have 6 line angles. First one, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. So we are naming, if we name these, first of all we have facial wall and gingival wall, so this will be called facio-gingival line angle. Gingival wall, lingual wall, this is lingual wall, gingival wall, so this will be called as linguo-gingival line angle. Gingival wall, axial wall, so this will be called axio-gingival line angle. Axial wall and this is facial wall, so this will be called axiofacial line angle. Axial wall and lingual wall, so this will be called axiolingual gingival line angle. Axial wall and incisal edge, so this line angle will be called as axio-incisal line angle. So these are the 6 line angles of the class 3 cavity. Now we if we name the point angles, so there are 3 point angles that are present on the 3 corners of the triangle: first, second and third. 2 are present on the base and 1 is present on the apex of the triangle. So if we name these, first of all, first one is here. So here 3 walls are meeting: axial, facial and gingival, so this point angle will be called as axio-facio-gingival point angle. And similarly on the other side, lingual wall, axial wall and gingival wall, so this point angle will be called as axio-linguo-gingival point angle. And similarly on the apex of the triangle, this here you can see facial wall, lingual wall and axial wall, so this line angle will be called as linguofacial line point angle. So these are the 3 point angles of the class 3 cavity. Now we are heading towards the class 4 cavity. Here you can see the typical structure of the class 4 cavity. Okay, so first of all we have to name the walls of the class 4 cavity. First of all, the wall that are you seeing on the top of the cavity and along the edge of the incisal edge, this wall is called mesial or distal wall. If it is toward the mesial side, then it will be called a mesial wall, and if it is toward the distal side, so this will be called distal wall. This is distal wall, and the wall that are you seeing here, this is yellow color, this wall is called pulpal wall. And the wall that are you seeing in along the long axis of the tooth, this wall, pink color, this wall is called axial wall. And the wall that are you seeing along the perpendicular to the long axis and present toward the gingival side, so this wall will be called as gingival wall. So these are the 4 walls of the class 4 cavity. So as class 4 cavity has 11 line angles and 6 point angles. So first of all we have to name the line angles of the class 4 cavity. So we start from the mesial wall. So this is mesial wall and this is facial wall, so this line angle will be called as mesiofacial line angle. First one. Second one is mesial wall and lingual wall, so this will be called mesiolingual line angle. Mesial wall, pulpal wall, so this line angle here you can appreciate, this is mesiopulpal line angle. 3 line angle we have discussed. Fourth one is pulpal wall and facial wall, so this will be called faciopulpal line angle. Fifth one is pulpal wall, lingual wall, linguopulpal line. Sixth one is pulpal wall, axial wall, axiopulpal line angle. Seventh one is axial wall, facial wall. So this will be called as axiofacial line angle. Eighth one is axial wall, lingual wall. So this will be called as axiolingual line angle. Ninth one is axial wall, gingival wall. So this line angle here you can appreciate axiogingival line angle. 10th one is gingival wall, facial wall. So this wall line angle will be called as faciogingival line angle. Last one, 11th one is lingual wall, gingival wall. So this line angle will be called as linguogingival line angle. So these are 11 line angles of the class 4 cavity. Now we move to the now we discuss the point angles of the class 4 cavity. So there are 6 point angles. 4 are present on the 4 corners of the pulpal wall and 2 are present on the 2 corners of the meeting of the walls of the axial wall and gingival wall, here and here. So if we name these point angles, first one is here mesial wall, pulpal wall, facial wall, this point angle. So this will be called as mesio-facio-pulpal point angle. Similarly on the other side, mesial wall, pulpal, lingual. So this point angle will be called as mesio-linguo-pulpal point angle. Similarly here axial wall, pulpal wall and lingual wall. So this point angle will be called as axio-linguo-pulpal point angle. Similarly on the other side, axial wall, facial wall, pulpal wall. This is pulpal, facial, axial. So this point angle will be called as axio-facio-pulpal point angle. So these are the 4 point angles that we discussed and named them on the 4 corners of the walls of the pulpal wall. Now 5th one is axial wall, facial wall and gingival wall. This is the point angle. This will be called as axio-facio-gingival point angle. Similarly on the other side, facial wall, axial wall, gingival and lingual. This is the point angle. Here these three walls are meeting. So this will be called as axio-linguo-gingival point angle. So these are the 6 point angles of the class 4 cavity. Now we